This is an example. This is a little graph that shows percent functioning by age. And we're looking at, when we're born, you take a baby, lay them down, they're not going to be able to care for themselves much. So in terms of percent functioning, that goes up pretty quickly, though. So by the time we're 20, most of us can take care of ourselves to some degree. And we really hit our peak in terms of physical prowess, as well as our ability to take care of our bills and all the functioning we do in life, up until, say, sometime at 45-ish, and then physically we start to tail off. And sometimes, usually in the 65 or so, we start to functionally do different things. I mean, it just depends on everybody's life. It's different. But and I made this graph up, right? I mean, this is not hard science, and everybody's life's a little different. But the point is that what happens to folks is that at some point they get busy with life, right? Making babies, doing the job, traveling a lot, eating out more. And so the first thing that goes usually is people don't exercise as more. I can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody who said, in college I used to bike ride, I used to swim, I used to water ski and all those things. I don't do any of that now. The next thing that happens, though, is people keep eating the same despite the amount of exercise they're getting, right? So here comes the weight. Or a baby occurs and they gain a lot of weight. Next is that the energy in the blood starts to build up. Now, I'm not going to stop and go over that tonight, but you'll understand in the next 3 weeks. In fact, next week is we really focus on this, how when your exercise drops and your intake stays the same or goes up, and you eat, there's at some point you get to a BMI where there's no room in the inn, right? The fat cells are full and you eat. So the food goes in your stomach, in your blood, and there's no place to store it. And it starts this inflammatory, angry condition in our body that we pick up on by high cholesterol. That's when fat is one example of a way energy is stored in your body, right? High sugar, that's a second energy source. And the blood pressure, as this inflammation and irritation goes on, starts to go up. Now, there are thin people with high blood pressure. It doesn't, high blood pressure doesn't require you to be obese. But for most, the average American, kind of the scenario we're playing out today, this is what's happening. Now, again, a lot of that happens because of a busy lifestyle, lousy habits, less sleep, possibly smoking, dietary indiscretions. We're just busy. And what ultimately happens is the fat gets stored in the blood vessel wall. And that's called a what? A plaque, right? And when the plaque explodes in your chest, it's called a heart attack. And when it explodes in your neck or up in your brain, it's called a... So Margaret's trajectory was that this is what her life basically looked like, right? So the question on the table today is, what could that look like? Now the other challenge is, how do you think blood pressure feels for most people?
You don't.
Great silent killer. I feel fine. How about high cholesterol? You ever felt your cholesterol go up? All right? No, doesn't work that way, does it? So I feel fine. How about diabetes? Well, a third of people with diabetes, up to a third, are not even diagnosed. We have something like, I forget the exact numbers, I think there's something like 8 million people in the United States with diabetes, and 2.3 million of them don't even know they've got it. The average hemoglobin A1C when diabetes is diagnosed is 10.6. Normal is less than 6.5. So the sad thing is, in the state of Texas, you know what the average hemoglobin A1C is a year after people are diagnosed with diabetes? 10.6. It doesn't go down. So, the problem with the human condition is we think if we feel good, everything's fine. And the truth is that for most people, the first time they have chest pain, what percentage of women die the first time they feel chest pain?
But it's more than that.
67%. So if you're waiting to feel bad, then you've got a 67% chance that you won't recover from that. If you're male, it's 50-50. You have a 50% chance the first time you feel pain of making it out of that and not dying suddenly. So we don't want to wait for this. Somehow, some way, we've got to motivate ourselves and take the steps to change before it gets too late.